Hey, 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 it's Tia, baby. And I am back with another video. So it's been a minute, and I was sitting up and I was just thinking, why not do a video? So here I am. And I was told by a supporter, could I give my opinion on the school shooting that happened in Texas? So apparently, a 18-year-old boy entered in a back door that was left open by a teacher, and this is from what I heard on the news. He entered in some minutes after the teacher left the door. Left the door open or unlocked, I shall say. He walked in and allegedly, I guess, making his rounds, firing up the place. And I was told that, well, actually, my coworker told me that she either read or heard that one of the teachers that had got killed in this horrific incident, that she was on her way to lock the door. The door was, I don't know if the whole door was glass or the window was glass and the rest of the door was whatever the material is. But she was on her way walking towards the door to lock it, and the gunman was behind the door and shot her. So I don't know if the whole door was glass or if just the window was glass. I'm assuming that the window was glass because I am a teacher, and in my years of education, all doors, classroom doors, are either made of metal or wood, and the window of the door is glass. Now, but that could be just schools in my area. I don't know how schools are in Texas. I don't know how the doors are in Texas, but I know where I am from, they're not glass doors. So only the window in the door. So I don't know if the whole door was glass and he just saw her walk up to the door and he shot her. I don't know. I also heard that one of the survivors, one of the children, allegedly saw his friend laying dead from a gunshot wound. So he allegedly rubbed blood onto his body and played dead. And that's what saved him. Now, I don't know if this is true. This is what I was told because I didn't read an article about it. I just was, I did hear things here and there by looking at the news, if the news was on where I was at, or just hearing my coworkers talking about it because she watches the news and follows it. So I also viewed another YouTuber's IG page, and she was talking about it. Well, brought up the incident on her page, and she had posted up an article of the mother of the gunman saying that he didn't have any issues, that he was a good kid, that he was just a loner, and he didn't have many friends, but she didn't think that he didn't give off anything to give her the belief that he was up to stuff, that he was into stuff like that. Now, mind you, allegedly he shot his grandmother in the face. I'm guessing it's true. That he shot his grandmother in the face before he head on to the school and shot up the students and stuff and teachers. Now, allegedly, his mom was on drugs or battling some type of abuse. She was in and out of his life. Mind you, that's the reason why the grandmother raised them. I also heard allegedly that what egged him on was that he was bullied, allegedly bullied in school, and he was mad that he was poor. And that is a part of the reason why, or is the reason why he did what he did. Now, I can't, my opinion about all of this is there's always signs. It's just people ignore those signs because they either downplay it or they assume that they're going to grow out of it, or they just a kid and just brush it off. You don't brush off stuff like abnormal stuff. If you see that or witness that a child takes excitement or interest of harming animals or kids or people, that's a sign that they are capable of doing things far worse and they need some type of help immediately. Now, I am an educator and I pay attention to things my students say. For example, I had a student who said that he wants to be a bandit when he gets older. That's not something you take lightly. And for him to be the age that he is, to know what a bandit is alarming. And I've already stated that he needs some type of therapy because he already has anger issues and he's very violent towards his own mother and siblings. And he is and I don't want to get into detail about his behavior, but it's very alarming. And hopefully I'm not going to say hopefully. I'm going to make it my responsibility, either myself or my colleague, responsibility to inform this parent, his parent, that therapy is needed. It's needed. And then this is just an example. If your child, or if you know of a child that is speaking about violence or doing harmful things to others or any type of living thing and finds enjoyment, get them help immediately before it gets out of control. Because once you let it go and they get older, it's just going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And I really take it serious when students or when children disrespect their own parents and they think it's okay to disrespect their parents. If they disrespect the person or people that brought them in this world, then they don't give two snaps about anyone else. And that's a red flag. So I'm sure there were signs. I'm sure there were signs. But of course, you got to put into consideration, he was raised by his grandmother. Most grandmothers, I'm sure his grandmother wasn't young. So I'm sure most grandmothers are old school. So they may not pick up on the signs like a younger person would. Or they may say, oh, this is a phase. And all kids do this. And then leave it alone. So I'm sure there were signs. It just wasn't picked up at that moment. I don't know what those signs were. Well, being a loner is a sign. Now, it's one thing to be okay with being by yourself to a certain extent. For example, being content with being by yourself as a choice is one thing versus being a person that is always by themselves because they can't interact with people or it's something like that along those lines. That's something different. Now, I don't mind being by myself to a certain extent, meaning I like being around people, but I'm also content with being by myself, meaning I like to enjoy hanging out with myself, meaning watching movies by myself, or going to the mall by myself, or just taking a walk by myself. That's okay. That's normal. You should want to enjoy or date yourself sometimes. But versus a loner is someone that just mopes, that chooses to be by themselves and not want to be with any, want to have any outside interaction. But they don't do things like fun things by themselves, like saying things by themselves. They just like to sit in a dark room or um look at the wall or take long walks but in dangerous places or do dangerous things by themselves. That's, to me, that's what loners do. I could be wrong, but that's to me what loners do. And that's a difference. And that's a red flag. Also, I don't know what caused him to shoot his grandmother. I don't know. Maybe she says, I don't know. I don't know. So I'm not even going to elaborate on that. But I'm sure there were signs that he was not right in the head and they were ignored by loved ones, by peers, by his own mother. I feel for those kids that lost their lives, that didn't even get a chance to live. I feel for the parents of those kids who has to come home every night, every day, and see an empty room that once was filled with their children or child in it, and have to forever live with a void or a hole in their heart because someone sick in the head ends their life for no apparent reason because he was battling demons that he couldn't maneuver away from. And it's not fair. I feel for the parents, for the families who lost their spouse and their mother or auntie of those teachers. And then on top of that, one of the teachers' husband died, I think the next day or a couple of days later of a heart attack. And they were high school sweethearts. And now the kids that they brought in this world have to not only try to cope with the fact that they lost their mother in a horrific way, and then their father. So they left with no parents. They definitely gonna need therapy. And I can't imagine, don't want to imagine, and Lord forbid something happens to my child. Like, I don't want to ever feel that pain. And I know any parent wouldn't. And I'm sure they did, and I know they didn't either. Next to church, school should be the safest place in the world. It's too many of these school shootings happening. And I saw a picture of a school district who has armed teachers. I feel like, this is my opinion, because this has been happening a lot more often than it should. I think that teachers, all educators, anybody that work in the school system need to be armed, need to be licensed, And then if any means necessary, something to happen, we ready. It's a war out here. And it's unfortunate. It is so unfortunate that we have to go through this. And I really feel like because it's happened too many times, us educators, we need to be licensed and armed and ready. Because unfortunately, it's continuing, and it shouldn't. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Those kids did not deserve that. None of the children that was in any type of school shootings, Columbine, what is it, Shady Brook or one, all of those, the school in Florida, then this school, and many, many more, should not have happened. Should not have happened. And I hope this doesn't happen again. I really hope that this does not happen again. We need our education. We need our teachers. We do. And I don't know much more to say, but God, please watch over those families that has been affected by this incident. All the families by this incident, any incidents similar to this, because no family deserves this at all. No child deserves that at all. And wherever that guy is, that gunman, I know they killed him. And I hope that he regrets what he did, wherever he is in the universe. I hope he regrets it. And I don't know what else to say, but I just hope it doesn't happen again. Stay safe. Peace.